Hey guys, let's get more news from Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Miami Heat proposed blockbuster lands $163 million top trade target. Assuming he lands on the NBA trade market this summer, and the chances are good that he will, Cavaliers guard Donovan Mitchell figures to attract a heavy level of attention. He is coming off a season in which he averaged 26.2 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 6.1 assists, on 46.2% shooting, and has been an all-star 5 years running. That will have the attention of the Miami Heat. Miami was eliminated from playoff contention on Wednesday by the Celtics in the first round, a year after a magical run to the NBA Finals. But Mitchell has never been entirely content in Cleveland. Remember, before the Cavs traded for him in the summer of 2022, there was a presumption that Mitchell was headed to New York. He wanted a big market, and though the team in Cleveland is talented, the Cavs were always going to have to convince him to stay with the team before he could opt out of the final year of his 5-year, $163 million contract. That comes in the summer of 2025. Thus, if the Cavs are sure they can't keep Mitchell on an extension, they need to move him this summer. Again, expect the Miami Heat, who figure to be hunting for a star in the offseason, to take notice. Over at Bleacher Report, with the Heat now bounced from the NBA playoffs, Mitchell is tabbed as the top potential target for Miami to consider this summer in an article titled, Ranking Heat's Top Trade Targets After 2024 NBA Playoff Loss. We don't know yet who, exactly, will hit the trade market, but there's no doubt the Mitchell-Heat pairing makes sense, and there's good reason he's ranked number 1 on the list. A proposed deal like this could work, depending on whether the Heat can maneuver themselves out of the NBA's second apron luxury tax territory. Here's what analyst Zach Buckley wrote: Mitchell is the high-end shot creator this roster so desperately needs, shares a close bond with Heat legend Dwayne Wade, and is tight with Adebayo, too. Mitchell would be the kind of difference maker that could convince Miami to empty its asset collection for him. It might take multiple picks, Harrow, Jamie Jaquez Jr. and more to get Mitchell, but it's hard to think of a realistically available player who would give the Heat a better chance to contend during whatever remains of Jimmy Butler's prime. It helps that Mitchell is friendly with Wade and Adebayo, but that won't weigh much on the Heat's decision to pursue him. What matters is that Mitchell would be a good fit with Butler, as a player who can handle point guard duties when needed and has a certain level of grit and toughness. The biggest point in favor of a Mitchell-Miami Heat pairing, though, is that coach Eric Spoelstra respects Mitchell's approach and professionalism. It might help matters that Mitchell could be on the 2024 Team USA Olympic entry, for which Spoelstra will be an assistant coach. The question for team president Pat Riley and the Heat, though, is what to give up for Mitchell. The team was notably stubborn in its pursuit of Damian Lillard from the Trail Blazers last year, and if they take the same approach with Mitchell this year, they could miss out. The situations are different. Mitchell is 6 years younger than Lillard, and would give the Miami Heat a foundation, with Adebayo, to build on after Butler moves on. The Heat value Harrow, maybe more than most other organizations, but would have to part with him for Mitchell. The team has done well to develop Jovic, who may be a future star, but again, they'll need to give up young assets for a player in his prime like Mitchell. Expect a lot of Mitchell chatter in the coming weeks. And expect the Miami Heat to continue being in the center of it. Bam Adebayo shares message after Miami Heat's elimination from playoffs. The Miami Heat may feel hard done by with how they were eliminated from the playoffs. They had to stop the Boston Celtics without Jimmy Butler appearing even once throughout the 5-game series. However, he understands better than anyone that there's no use crying over spilt milk. The big man and one of the leaders in the Heat's locker room decided to focus on what his team could do to better their playoff chances next season. His message for the fans after his Heat loss to the Celtics is simple, but it's enough to inspire hope on the fans. Adebayo was interviewed after the Celtics loss to get his thoughts on the series and what his major takeaways from the game are. He believes his team gained one valuable thing from the loss that will help them next season. Per Kyle Hightower of Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazelle, "We've gained a lot of mental toughness," he said. "Going through that as a captain, it helped me understand that the ship's going to get rocky sometimes." Adebayo had a decent series, leading the team with 22.6 points, 9.4 rebounds, and 3.8 assists a game. However, he was a non-factor on defense as he failed to swat a single shot throughout the 5-game series. NESN's Greg Dudek asked specifics on what killed his team throughout the series. Adebayo shared that the Celtics did one thing well throughout the series, which was stifling Tyler Herro from scoring. "They definitely got him out of his rhythm," Bam Adebayo said following a lopsided 118-84 Game 5 loss to the Celtics on Wednesday night at TD Garden. "Sending him different coverages, pressing him full court. They just took him out of his rhythm." Herro did his best to fill Jimmy Butler's shoes, and the 24-year-old had a decent account throughout the series. He finished with 16.8 points, 3.6 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and 0.4 steals. However, it was clear that he wasn't enough to fill Butler's scoring and clutch gene. The Heat will surely try to run it back next season. Hopefully, they have a healthy Butler to count on next year. Boston Celtics star Jayson Tatum drops honest Miami Heat confession after series-ending Game 5 win. The Boston Celtics took care of business on Wednesday night. They hosted the Miami Heat in Game 5 of their first-round matchup with an opportunity to close out the series. That's exactly what they did by destroying Miami, 118-84, thereby booking their spot in the East semis. Jayson Tatum finished Wednesday's series-ending win with a modest 16-point, 12-rebound double-double. The Celtics were so good in Game 5 that they didn't even need a heroic performance from their superstar forward to close out the series. After the game, Tatum admitted that he had already had his mind set on facing the Heat in the postseason. "I wanted to play Miami in the sense that maybe last year, playing against Atlanta, we might have relaxed a little bit," he said. "Knowing the history with Miami and how hard they play, how well coached they are. For a first-round matchup, regardless of the seed, we were gonna have to be ready to play, ready to fight." Tatum and the Celtics proved that they were indeed ready for whatever the Heat were going to bring to the table. On Wednesday night, they left no doubt as to who was the superior team between them. Boston now awaits the winner of the series between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. Without giving the Zebra a chance, the Boston Celtics finished their clash with the Miami Heat on Wednesday night, January 5, in the NBA playoffs. At home, the favorite won 118-84, ending the best-of-7 game series 4-1 and securing their place in the Eastern Conference semifinals. The triumph had the flavor of revenge for the Celtics, who were also the favorites in a duel with the Heat in the East Final last season. But they were beaten and left out of the NBA's big decision. This time, the Boston team got a scare in the second game of the series by losing at home, something very rare this season. But the reaction was quick and the victory was confirmed. Owner of the best regular season campaign in the NBA, the Boston Celtics reached the semifinals for the 7th time in 8 years. The title favorites' next opponent will be the clash between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Orlando Magic. The Cavaliers lead the series 3-2. And you fan, what do you think of the Jayson Tatum situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.